And if you want to get a decent scoring crib, the 10 queen is far more likely to do it than the king queen, if you've got to put those kind of cards to your own crib. Why might that be?
The jack cut.
The 10 works down too.
10 works down too,
And see, so you can pick up a double run below the 10. Whereas with the king queen, your opponent probably won't let you take anything out on the other end of that king. Of course, my folks were great believers in just get to cut. Hey, that's all. You don't have to know none of this stuff. All you've got to get is the card on the deck. Oh yeah, okay. Now, I hear folks say, oh, I don't know why it works this way, but every time I throw these cards to my opponent's crib, they get big points out of them. I put them in my own, and they're not worth a hill of beans. And that's true. You aren't imagining something. It's not Murphy's Law. It's not the cribbage god being against you. This is an excellent place if you want to do some advanced study of cribbage. Cribbageforum.com. In fact, Mike Shell has a panel of experts on there. I was one of the first experts, and so far he hasn't retired me. So, well, I'm sorry. You probably want to ask another question if each response is that length. Let's see. How often do you pick up a hand with 3 pairs? Doesn't it seem to happen quite a bit?
Always one of
And,
the opponents.
yeah, it always seems to me like I pick up 3 pairs when it's their crib. And it's like 2 queens, 2 jacks, and 2 sixes.
Yeah.
Right? 2 queens, 2 jacks, and 2 sixes. 2 sixes to their crib, dangerous discard. I got 4 points. The rules say that you have to wait a reasonable time. Like, that's a tough rule, isn't it? I mean, do you say, I mean, they play the 3 and they don't take 3. I wonder.
I play my 4.
What is a reasonable time? 15 seconds? This watch has a second hand on it, so I could do this. But it's really pretty subjective, and unfortunately they're moving more and more to rules which are subjective. See? Anyway, at some point you should take your run of 4. If they didn't take 1 of 3, you still got 1 of 4. Now they got a chance to take 1 of 5, so... Do you drink coffee? Could I get you a cup? At least that would be reasonable. If I come back and they hadn't moved their pegs, probably I'm okay to go ahead and take my run now. 2 or 3 of you have mentioned seeing my picture in Cribbage World, and you didn't know that I owned a suit or a tie. You've never seen me in a suit or a tie.
That's true.
Well, you know, the last 3 years I traveled for cribbage, I had a choice of taking a doctor or taking a suit. And I thought there was a better chance for a burial than recovery. So I always had a suit in the car. So if you saw me at Reno on Saturday morning, I dressed up with a suit.
Just in case.
So
You wouldn't want to throw that 510 in your opponent crib.
well, we ain't there yet.
Oh,
Tonight we're going to get there, but right now we're still last week. This discard doesn't even show up on page 1. Why doesn't it?
Your opponent's not going to throw 7 if he can.
Yeah, it takes a 7. And they're going to give you the king 6, the 10 6, the jack 6, the queen 6, the king 8, the queen 8, the jack 8, king 9, queen 9. They're going to have to run out of a whole lot of cards before you ever get a 7. I was seeing a cardiologist every 90 days. I don't see him now for 2 years. Every 90 days. And I really believe that was my life expectancy. They wanted to collect once more on my life insurance, or health insurance, before I collected on my life insurance. So I kept on that 90-day sequence and 90-day sequence, and he'd keep giving me advice, and I don't hear too well. And one day I was walking downtown. Chehalis is not a very big town. And here's my cardiologist walking by on the same side of the street. And I got a pretty young lady on my elbow, and I'm just walking like I'm on cloud 9. And he says, looks like things are going pretty good for you, huh? I said, yeah, last time I saw you, you said, be cheerful and get a hot mama. He said, Dad, I didn't say that. I said, be careful, you got a heart murmur. so anyway, that's